If you thought the fallout from the 2020 election drama was over, you've clearly miscalculated. We're not done. We're actually seeing an escalation. Donald Trump just issued pardons for 18 individuals involved in the Arizona fake elector scheme, including Christina Bobb, who somehow landed a senior role in his Department of Homeland Security. This isn't a gesture of goodwill. This is a deliberate, flagrant attempt to signal that you can participate in a systematic effort to overthrow an election, and there will be an immunity buffer. It's a mechanism of impunity, but that calculation is catastrophically wrong, and this is where the system begins to push back. The Arizona Attorney General, Chris Mays, is not playing this political game. She sees this for what it is, a coup in progress, and she's just taken a huge, aggressive move. The initial indictment against these 18 individuals was dismissed by a lower appellate court on a technicality. We'll get into that procedural nonsense in a moment. But Mays is not backing down. She's appealing directly to the Arizona Supreme Court to revive the case against the 11 fake electors and the 7 inner circle figures like Mark Meadows. This action confirms that the battleground has shifted. When Jack Smith wrapped his federal indictments, it left a massive vacuum. It was up to state-level attorneys general, the ones who truly stand for the people of their states, to pick up the pieces and enforce state law against those who tried to subvert democracy. A.G. Mays was one of the few who stood up publicly and said, "This will not stand."
Hi, I'm Arizona Attorney General Chris Mays. Let me start by thanking everyone for your patience as we conducted a thorough and professional investigation over the past 13 months into the fake elector scheme in our state. I understand for some of you today didn't come fast enough, and I know I'll be criticized by others for conducting this investigation at all. But as I have stated before and will say here again today, I will not allow American democracy to be undermined. It's too important. The investigators and attorneys assigned to this case took the necessary time to thoroughly piece together the details of the events that began nearly 4 years ago. They followed the facts where they led, and I'm very proud of the work they've done to date. We're here because justice demands an answer to the efforts that the defendants and other unindicted co-conspirators allegedly took to undermine the will of Arizona's voters during the 2020 presidential election. Arizona's election was free and fair. The people of Arizona elected President Biden. Unwilling to accept this fact, the defendants charged by the state grand jury allegedly schemed to prevent the lawful transfer of the presidency. Whatever their reasoning was, the plot to violate the law must be answered for, and I was elected to uphold the law of this state. The scheme, had it succeeded, would have deprived Arizona's voters of their right to have their votes counted for their chosen president. It effectively would have made their right to vote meaningless. After the general election on November 3, 2020, the defendants and other unindicted co-conspirators raised false claims of widespread voter fraud in Arizona to pressure elections officials to change the outcome of a transparent, free, and fair democratic election. Those efforts ultimately failed when officials stood firm, followed their statutory duties, and officially certified Arizona's election on November 30th, 2020. The defendant Republican presidential electors, allegedly plotting with additional defendants, then voted for Mr. Trump and Vice President Pence on December 14th, 2020, falsely claiming to be the duly elected and qualified electors for President and Vice President of the United States from the state of Arizona. These defendants deceived the citizens of Arizona by falsely claiming that those votes were contingent only on a legal challenge that would change the outcome of the election. In reality, the defendants intended that the false votes for Trump and Pence.
Let's address the elephant in the room and the misconception that these pardons somehow offer a shield. Many of you are asking, if they were pardoned, doesn't that mean they are off the hook? No, absolutely not. The pardon is merely political theater. It is legally irrelevant here. This is a critical distinction, a teachable moment that is apparently lost on the former president. The pardon power under Article 2 of the U.S. Constitution is absolute, but only for federal crimes. When it comes to state criminal cases, a president's power is precisely zero. Zip. Nada. Trump has the same pardoning authority over a criminal indictment in Arizona as you or I do. None. Only the governor or a state commission can grant a pardon for a state offense. The fact that these individuals accepted pardons for potential federal crimes while still facing state charges leads us directly to a crucial legal principle that many viewers are asking about. Is accepting a pardon an admission of guilt? In the eyes of the law, accepting a pardon implies an acknowledgement of the act committed, as you cannot be pardoned for an act that wasn't criminal. If you were truly innocent, you would refuse the pardon and fight the charges to clear your name. These pardons are therefore not a get-out-of-jail-free card. They are a public, performative gesture that paradoxically only underscores the participants' own awareness of their criminal exposure. Christina Bobb, the recipient of one of these pardons, now holds an executive secretary position overseeing written communication for the Department of Homeland Security. Think about that. A person indicted for attempting to subvert democracy is now controlling the flow of high-level government communication. The only thing the pardon did was provide cover for that appointment. It did nothing to insulate her from A.G. Mays' indictment. Now let's dissect the procedural attack that temporarily derailed this case. The lower appellate court, in a state where the judiciary leans heavily Republican, ruled that the indictment was invalid because A.G. Mays' office did not present the text of the Electoral Count Act of 1887, ECA, to the grand jury. This is a purely technical, non-substantive argument designed to dismiss the case without addressing the underlying criminal conduct. The prosecutor's obligation to the grand jury is to present the state criminal statutes being implicated and the evidence necessary to establish probable cause, a much lower standard than conviction beyond a reasonable doubt. The defense argument is a blatant distraction. The ECA is a federal, non-criminal statute. It has no bearing on proving criminal intent under Arizona state law, which deals with conspiracy and fraud. May's new filing to the Arizona Supreme Court argues precisely this. There is no obligation to present a federal, non-criminal statute when prosecuting state crimes. This is an indisputable legal reality. The defense theory is that these individuals were merely contingency electors, alternate electors who would only spring into action if a court successfully challenged and overturned the election results. That theory is a transparent lie, a tactical defense strategy that has no basis in the facts. We know the plan, originally concocted by Ken Chesebro and John Eastman, quickly morphed. It ceased being about a legitimate contingency after 80 lawsuits failed across the country. It became a plot to create an illegitimate competing slate of electors delivered to Mike Pence, the then president of the Senate. The goal was to manufacture confusion and force Pence to throw the result to the U.S. House of Representatives, where the vote would be decided by state delegations, a scenario that would have immediately returned the presidency to Donald Trump. That's not a contingency. That's a criminal conspiracy to overturn a free and fair election. The core question many of you are asking is, where is the accountability? Why is it taking so long? And why are we seeing a lack of commensurate accountability for the figure at the top? The delay is partly due to the rigorous legal challenges being mounted by the defense, including the application of Arizona's unique criminal anti-SLAPP law. This law allows defendants to claim their criminal actions were merely protected free speech. A.G. Mays must defeat these procedural maneuvers before the case can proceed to trial, and fighting this level of legal obstruction takes time and immense resources. But the most important factor, as A.G. Mays herself explained, is deterrence. Criminal law is not just punitive, it is primarily designed to deter future illegal activity. If the individuals who executed this plot on the ground are allowed to walk away simply because a lower court applied an irrelevant technicality, it sends a dangerous, clear signal to future political operatives: try it next time. The consequences are negotiable. As A.G. Mays stated, she views her job as being on the front lines against an ongoing coup. This is a principled position that demands respect. She knows she is walking into a legal buzzsaw facing a judiciary predisposed against her political party, but she cannot and will not throw up her hands and say it's too hard. If these people escape consequences, we are guaranteeing that the next election will face the same or perhaps a more sophisticated attack. Accountability is not an option. It is the necessary foundation for protecting our democratic process. This fight is not about politics. It is about the structural integrity of the American experiment. If we accept that a political elite can commit crimes, receive meaningless pardons, and exploit procedural technicalities to escape state justice, then the rule of law is truly dead. The Arizona Supreme Court will soon rule on this procedural challenge. If A.G. Mays wins, the indictment will be reinstated, and the legal fight for accountability at the state level, which is immune to presidential pardon, will continue. This outcome is crucial not just for Arizona, but for every state that saw similar fake elector schemes. This is why your support for independent legal analysis is vital. We are living through a period of maximum legal opacity and political distortion. You need direct, unvarnished insight from the lawyers who understand the statutes, the procedures, and the stakes. If you value the relentless pursuit of facts and the detailed legal analysis we provide here, you need to be part of this community. Hit the subscribe button now. We don't have outside investors telling us what to say. We are funded by you, the viewers, who demand the truth. Your subscription is your vote for honest, independent legal reporting. Help us cross the next major milestone so we can continue to bring you the attorneys, the historians, and the direct legal filings you need to understand the true state of play. Don't just stand on the sidelines. Engage with the fight. The future of accountability hinges on these precise moments.